In a month or so, you're going to have the chance to stand up in front of the team and anybody that comes to the postseason banquet and say whatever you want. Have you had a chance to think about what you're going to say?
A little bit. Buddy AJ of mine has thought of some things he thought I might want to say, but I joke around. I think it'll probably be pretty short and to the point, and just want to thank a lot of people, especially Muhammadu. That man's meant the world to me, and probably thank Coach Holly for giving me the opportunity to play here.
Is it going to be emotional for you?
I didn't think so, because I don't normally get too emotional, but the closer we get to the end, the more and more difficult it's become. Well, senior night's been a long time coming, because I took a red shirt, so I've been in college for 5 years, but I'm excited. I think senior night kind of signifies that you're about ready to graduate, so I'm as excited about that as anything else, and just ready to kind of move on to whatever life has in store for me. But I'm going to miss these guys and miss coming to this building and playing in front of the fans. And there's not always a ton of fans, but the fans that are there love you with everything they have, and I really appreciate everybody being there.
Let's talk about those other seniors. You mentioned Muhammadu, and talk a little bit more about him. What has he meant to you through the years?
I've said this to you before, I'll say it again. Muhammadu's the best defender I've ever played against, and I get to play against him every day in practice, so that makes me so much better than I would be without him. And then playing with Mark and Chris, I mean, Chris, phenomenal shooter, and Mark's the best athlete I've ever met. Just, you never know what's going to happen. He's so fast and can jump so high. So, yeah, it's been a blessing to play with all three of them.
Do you worry at all about the idea that 3 years has put you among the leaders in rebounding and scoring, probably a couple other categories, but a fourth year might have put you right at the top? Does that bother you at all?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. It is what it is. I mean, it'd be cool to be at the top, but you can only do what you can do. And if you didn't have such great teammates, then none of it would be possible anyway. So I don't know how it all would have worked out if I'd have played here another year before. I mean, it's tough, because a lot of people would put that year at the end to assume you get another senior year. Well, most time it's the other way around. It's your freshman year and I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, but I'm not that worried about it.
You're not the guy that counts the stats or looks at the stats right now as far as the points and reboundings and all that to a large degree?
Not yet. I mean, I'm sure I will whenever I'm done and go back and see where I rank. But right now, I want to try to get to 10 wins.
Yeah, well, right now has been a struggle, no question about it. And after going to 2 NAIA tournaments, how has this year been with the struggles trying to win games?
One word to describe would be frustrating, just because I know our team has a lot of talent, and I wish we played more collectively at times, because I think we have as much talent as anybody. We just need to play together. And yeah, it's been tough being highly successful, and you look back at the Hack, and Mid-America is doing great right now, and they just locked up a spot in the national tournament, and they already have 7 losses. And I know last year with us and Lindenwood and Evangel, I mean, if we'd had 7 losses already to this point, nobody really would have had a shot. So it's kind of bittersweet, because I'm glad we're playing against new competition and better competition, but at the same time, I think people think that Jewel is down, but I don't know that Jewel's down. I think our competition's just up. In high school, we were successful. My freshman year at Benedictine, we went 500, least successful team I'd ever been on at the time. And then the last 2 years, here we got, I think it's 25 and 27 wins, and this year to only have 7 wins this far has been really difficult. Just, I see in Coach Holly's eyes, he's frustrated, and he doesn't lose. He hasn't done this much losing, and I know it's hard for him, but it's hard for us as well. I mean, nobody wants to be in the position we're in, but I will say nobody, coaching staff through players, has given up, and everybody's still working really hard. When I look back on this season, I'm not going to have a lot of regrets. I'm just going to kind of have a lot of good memories with the people that I got to play with, and just wish the results would have went a little differently.
I thought they threw a lot of big kids at you consistently tonight.
Oh, they had all sorts of talent at every position, and we just got to come to compete and be ready on every possession.
It seems like every team we play, you look on their roster and you see transfer from Oklahoma State, transfer from Nebraska, transfer from here, transfer from there, and we don't have anything like that. The guys in this league, the best way to describe someone would be freaks. I mean, they're all big, they can shoot, they can dribble. I mean, just to be in this league and be able to compete against these people and give them good games, I think says a lot about our program.
You mentioned Larry Holly a moment ago, and you seem to have a real close relationship with him through 3 years here, and I know he recruited you out of high school. What does he like to play for?
I would say that Coach Holly to play for is fun. He's fun to play for. He's a likable guy, and this isn't what he's like to play for, but he knows so much about the game. You can pick up so much and learn so much if you just listen to the little things that he says. He's always worried about the fine details of a play or of your of how your appearance is, and I love that man, and I just appreciate everything he's done for me, and I've learned so much. But I would say fun. I enjoy playing for Coach Holly.
What's your best memory as a basketball player at Jewel to this point?
Oh, we were talking about this earlier. Playing against Lindenwood in the HAC championship, that was a long time ago. That was my sophomore year, but it was the most packed I've ever played in the Mabee Center, and the students rushed the floor, and we won in overtime, and it just had a lot of good factors to it, and that was the only way we were going to get into the national tournament was if we won the conference tournament. So that was a thrill. And then from this season, I think just winning our first conference game against a Division II opponent, we beat Quincy. I didn't play a great game, but just it was a great team win, and it got things off to a good start, and kind of thought we might get rolling. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but it was just nice to look back and say we won our first conference game, and Quincy is a great team, and that'll be something I remember forever.
Who's looking inside to Larson? Nick hasn't shied away from anybody today.
Just can't get one to drop.
And had to change hands. Look at that.
Let's see if they give it to him. I hope so.
Oh, my goodness, Tim.
You've been part of so many great plays in your 3 years here. Is there one or two that kind of stick out that you'll always remember?
Yeah, that Lindenwood game, we got a jump ball at the end of the game that kind of sealed the game and won it for us. And then another play I remember that I'll never forget actually happened against us. We were playing out in California, and Brian Adams, I love him like a brother, but he got dunked on something vicious, and I will never forget it for my entire life. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I say that because we ended up winning the game, and he's still so bitter about it, but it was a great play.
As this year winds down and you get close to leaving Jewel, what are your plans for the future?
Well, I'm getting married in July, so that's a blessing, and I'm excited about that. And then look for a job. I guess I got to join the real world and try to get paid, and that's always tough.
Yeah, your fiance is a former Jewel basketball player, Brandy Roberts, and I know she has been with you for a while now. And how has she been as a support and as a former basketball player a support?
She's a tough critic, man.
Is she?
And it's never enough. She tells me all the time, Nick, if you would just go to the boards, you could be a lot better rebounder. And I tell her the same thing, I'm like, babe, I'm number 1 or number 2 in the conference. I'm doing all I can here, and she's always on my case, giving me a hard time. But her dad's a coach, and I think it's in her blood. She's got to critique me. So no, it's great. She's great to have around and good support, and I love having her at all the games. Coming back to Liberty, everybody from around here tries to make it to as many games as they can. I got family in Overland Park that comes over, and I got my dad and Karen from Oklahoma City who make it up when they can. Not as much as everybody else, but they get up when they can. And Grandpa from Warrensburg drives an hour and 15 minutes 2-3 times a week to watch us play, and I wish he could come to the road games because I know he would like to see it, but he doesn't like to drive at the night. So it's just a blessing. And my mom, they're right here in town, so they don't miss any. And my sister comes up from Warrensburg, and I got my best friend Matt who drives up for a lot of games. So I'm just blessed to have family. I know it'd be tough. I know it was tough even when I wasn't playing at Minnesota State after games to come out and not have family, and I feel bad for Cyril and Chris Ooze and Mark and Mohamedou and even T, and just people after the game, they see everybody so much love in their family, and they kind of don't really have anybody to go to at that point.
You have, it seems like, so much fun on the court. You'll talk to anybody on the court, and even before, afterwards. Have you always been that way, and where do you get that?
My family is really outgoing. My dad and my grandpa are real outgoing and really talkative, and I just feel like some people take the game so seriously and they forget that you're out there to have fun. And I always told my family that if I wasn't having fun, then I'd quit, because it's a job. You're out there all day, every day playing basketball, and I don't see the point in getting so worked up that you're not having fun anymore. So I enjoy chatting with people and learning about people and having a good time.
You talk to referees, you talk to opponents, naturally you talk to your own teammates, but anybody ever get annoyed that you talk to them?
Oh, I'm sure somebody has. Nobody's ever said anything, but yeah, I'm sure. Some players are like really set on trying to stay in their mental game or whatever, and when I'm talking to them, they'll just one-word answers. But some guys really get into it, and you'll just have a conversation throughout the game. I'm sure Coach wishes I was focused more on playing defense instead of chatting it up, but it's a good time.
How about the referees? You talk to them a lot.
I don't think they appreciate it as much. They probably wish I'd just be quiet and play the game. But no, they're really good and really helpful. And I guess the only time they don't want you to talk is when you're mad at them. Because if any other time they're just anybody else. They enjoy having a conversation.
How are they helpful?
Especially with me, because I like to play physical basketball down underneath, and they just, instead of just giving you a foul every time, they'll do their best to say, hey, hands off, get out of the paint, just kind of talk you through the process instead of just automatically giving you fouls.
Belong, a freshman. Look at him get the shot away.
Look at that.
And Larson finishes it.
He's a vacuum cleaner tonight off that board. A vacuum cleaner.
And just to win 3 in a row at the end of the year would mean a lot for our team as far as just morale and hopefully building for them going into next year. I think that's important to look at too. Give these underclassmen something to look back on and say, all right, we won 3 in a row at the end of last year. We got hot. Let's just keep that rolling into next season.
Sioux Falls will be the final opponent in Las Vegas. What do you imagine it's going to be like after that game for you?
One-on-one coverage against
I don't know. I've never really thought about being done playing basketball. I used to think I was going to go overseas, so I thought this journey would kind of never end. But I don't. It's going to be weird playing your last competitive basketball game. I'm sure I'll play town team basketball in some tournaments, but I think it's just a weird feeling knowing that you're never going to kind of lace them up with a purpose ever again because you're done. And I just think about my buddies Benson and Fisher and those guys, and they're going through it now, and they say it's hard to watch basketball because you just want to. They're both coaching, so they tell me it's tough to coach because you can't coach what you could do. So you can tell somebody how to do it, but they can't physically do it. So I'm excited, I guess, to be done and move on, but at the same time it's bittersweet. I wish I could keep playing. Maybe keep playing without going to school.